Jai Gurudev, everyone, and welcome to this session on transformative learning. So, what is transformative learning? Transformative learning is a methodology developed by Jack Mezirow in the 1970s. Now, he was an American sociologist and professor of adult and continuing education at Columbia University, and he conducted extensive research into the way that adults learn. Now, according to his research, transformative learning methodologies lead to a deep shift in perspective. In other words, the learner changes how they think and feel and react to the world. So, for example, if you're teaching a class on diversity and inclusion, and your audience is perhaps afraid of different cultures, a successful outcome to a series of your courses would be for learners to now embrace people who are different to them. Transformative learning methodologies help the learner's mind to become more open, more flexible in its opinions, and more discriminating. Transformative learning is not about being given a set of facts in class and then being asked by the teacher to memorize them. For example, you don't use PowerPoint to teach people how to accept each other's different cultures. You don't tell them what they should feel or how they should behave with each other. You have to teach in such a way that they discover these truths for themselves. Your methods should challenge the learner's current way of thinking. It should make them realise through direct experience that the new way of thinking being offered to them has real merit. It should make the learners contemplate how they could do things differently, how they could live their lives differently. According to Mezirow, effective teaching is accomplished through activities that take participants through these distinct phases: a disorienting dilemma, feelings of guilt or shame or just amused confusion, an understanding that others in the group are having the same disorienting experiences, an evaluation of their current assumptions and how these can be limiting to their growth, thoughts about what they're going to do differently, and implementation of new ways of doing things. So what he's saying is that if we want to teach in this transformative way, then we have to create the right conditions through which they'll move through these phases. So let's look at these points in more detail, through the lens of a particular case study. So, for example, you are hired to be part of a corporate project that wants to teach the value of cultural diversity and inclusion to its employees. As a facilitator, you're briefed that the recruiters are biased when it comes to recruiting people of diverse cultures, and also that within the organisation at the moment, people of different cultures are not treated as valued team members. So in other words, the organisation is experiencing a cultural diversity issue and something needs to be done about it. To help, you are now going to design a series of courses that will hopefully bring a shift in employee thinking. Now remember that our job is to teach in a way that brings transformation in the learner. In order to do this, we need to do more than just present information. In the planning process, we have to create learning activities that allow the participants to undergo a process that leads them to change. So to teach an important point, we first need to create an activity that will bring about a disorienting dilemma. What exactly is a disorienting dilemma? It's a situation or a number of situations where the mind encounters itself, where it realises its limited nature, and where it realises that there may be another way to think about things. Now, this can feel very uncomfortable at first, while the current idea battles with the new idea. So in producing a series of courses, instead of only using slides and discussion to talk about this subject, you have to create a range of experiences for the participants. So, for example, you could ask the learners to form 3 different groups within a classroom and ensure that the members of each group are of diverse cultures. These groups then compete to create a footwear design that will appeal to young people within a certain age range. The exercise could be completed within 45 minutes. You then select a winning group. The feedback after that will be centred on the process they went through to design the footwear. The primary focus of the feedback would be on the different perspectives that people of different cultures brought to the table. The participants themselves list the advantages of the diverse cultural input. There are also team-building exercises that bring people of different cultures together, exercises that can be included in this series of training courses. Such exercises force people within a team to rely on each other. It brings them together in ways they never did before. You could also include in this training modules where cultural groups share their customs in an experiential way. They bring in clothes, music, poetry, food and cultural stories, and everyone becomes immersed in that culture for a few hours. So this kind of immersion, with the footwear exercise, the team building and the cultural customs, gives participants a set of experiences that they never had before. It makes them see things, feel things, bond with people of other cultures in a way that they haven't done before. The mind of all the participants begin to form different thinking patterns. The assumptions that they had about other cultures begin to be questioned, and for many, this creates a disorienting dilemma. The ideas that they had before suddenly come into conflict with the ones forming now. And this leads to the second phase, which are feelings of guilt or shame or just amused confusion. Participants realise their former biases and feel ashamed or guilty. Some are kinder to themselves and feel both confused and amused at the same time. But then they move into the third phase, which is the understanding that others in the group are having the same disorienting experiences. This makes everyone feel a lot better and able to move into a fourth phase where they are able to perform an evaluation of their current assumptions and how these can be limiting to their growth. Now, phases 2, 3 and 4 occur when we create a group discussion exercise where we allow participants to talk amongst themselves and explore their experiences of the training exercises. Here, they share the thoughts, their feelings, and their former assumptions. They list the things that they learned and they present the information to the other groups in a full class sharing exercise. This activity helps participants to process their thoughts and their feelings and their emotions as a group and to move away from negative feelings of shame or guilt. By doing this, they can then move into the 5th and 6th phases, which are thoughts about what they're going to do differently, and then once the courses are over, implementing new ways of doing things. So, for example, the recruiters in the room might think about their biases and decide to really watch out for them when they recruit the next time. They might see the importance of really questioning their motives for putting certain people on shortlists and for leaving people off the shortlists. Other employers might make the effort to socialise more outside of work with their colleagues and ensure that everyone is welcome. There might be a group decision to celebrate the religious days of all cultures with cultural food and drinks. So, in summary, to go from a racially divided organisation to a more inclusive one, transformative learning must take place. Participants have to undergo experiential training. Experience changes things. It is through experience that we have our current ideas, and if our ideas limit our growth, it is through new experiences that we will change them. As teachers, we must create experiences within the classroom. We must create a space where people can learn and share and grow together. Jai Gurudev.